All right, so I am going to talk to John Franco, one of my amazing buyer's agents. John, when did you get licensed?
I want to say 2020. It was August. So it was right during the COVID start.
Okay.
So my last day of Friday is bartending. You can cut that part. I'm just trying to think openly now. It would have been like, I want to say it was March 2020, right? Is that when the COVID shutdown
COVID,
happened?
yep.
March
COVID was
2020?
March 2020.
So then for 3 months, I studied through that summer. And
Okay.
then I think we interviewed and I started August of 2020.
Nice. So, what is your favorite thing about helping people with real estate?
I mean, exactly how you just worded it. My favorite thing about helping people with real estate is helping them. Having a job that really impacts lives is really important to me. It feels good to know I'm making a change every day.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, when you think about the people you've helped, is there anything that jumps out? Like I know with Scott, I was teasing him, like I had one client I showed 41 houses to, and that's when I was like, all right, I'm not supposed to be a buyer's agent anymore. But for you, I know you're patient and you're very social. So it's almost like a natural thing for you. Like when you think about your role, what is it that you really enjoy, and what are some things on the buy side that have jumped out at you when you think about your career so far?
I think I genuinely just enjoy hanging out with people in life. So it
Hmm.
feels really good to know as a buyer's agent. I'm texting like, hey, have you seen this house? It's really cool. Do you want to go see it? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing Saturday? Let's go check out these houses.
Yep.
Um, and being on the buy side is something I enjoy more, even though I've had, like you said, a year-long client. I've had a year-long client, and I've had a once and done client in a month where the first home they saw, they bought and got it.
Yeah.
So both sides of the coin are enjoyable to me.
Yeah.
Just hanging out with my friends, seeing old friends, catching up, and helping people find a home is
Yeah.
just a good
Becoming
time for
friends.
me.
So you enjoy like the whole aspect of
Yeah,
ultimately like
old friends, new friends, becoming friends. Anyone I meet, just always a good time
yeah.
because anyone who knows me they know I talk way too much.
Well, that's part of your personality.
True.
So, and that's why naturally it's a good fit. You don't mind helping people. I do like that you pointed out text, because that is something John loves to text. So if you are one of John's clients, he will prefer a text like this long, where I would rather just call you and be like, so this is what's going on. Okay, bye. So,
Down to call if you need it, but yeah, I don't like the pressure. A lot of people don't like the pressure of being blindly called some days. So I take the stress off. I let them read the message, get back to me when they can. If you need a call, we will call. But
yeah,
text is easier, it feels like, to me.
to you. And that's just it. So I think Scott and I touched on that a little bit, how as buyer's agents in particular, you do have to figure out how to help that person. So somebody that's brand new, right? So that has no idea where to even start. What would be your suggestion to somebody who's like, I want to buy a house, but I don't even know where to begin? So what would be when somebody calls you like that? What is it that you
Yeah, the easiest
say to
thing is
them?
to find your numbers in a budget. And the most helpful way to do that is if you're not buying cash, speak to a local lender, or your bank if you're more comfortable.
Hmm.
We have local lenders we work with a lot, so I would send you some of my friends' numbers to talk to. And you want to get a good estimate on what you can afford so you know first and foremost what actual house prices would work for you. From there, we get the number and then we get a list of homes online in that budget range, and you prefer how many bedrooms, how many baths, location, all of that.
Hmm.
And that really paints the picture of what you want in a house. So the house kind of finds you in the end more than people choosing freely. But in the end, if you want to wait, you can find the perfect home. You don't have to rush yourself into it.
Yeah. Well, that's what Scott and I were joking, that the perfect home exists for, 750 to like $2 million. So like most people, it's like finding that compromise,
Yeah,
like and finding, and you have to think like when you purchased your home too, like it's one of those things where it's like finding that house that meets enough of your criteria. And like you're absolutely right, like that patience piece, like the way everybody on my team, and I don't want to speak for you, but is it's what fits for that person. So it's having those conversations to find out what is important to that person and
exactly
making
that.
sure we're meeting their needs of what that looks like,
Exactly that.
which is good, which is good. So when you think about being a buyer's agent in particular, you know, um, it's one of those things when people come to you. Obviously, it's the numbers, You know, what are some other things that people that don't know where to begin should think about? Because obviously they can't buy it if they can't afford it, they can't buy it.
Fair. Yeah. I
But
mean, start with your budget, make it make sense to you, but from there, it's where do you want to live? How close do you want to be to work, to friends, to family? What
mhm,
locations would make sense?
mhm,
Some locations are cheaper than others. So some people don't mind living out on the edge of the city for cheaper homes and then commuting an hour to work, but other
mhm.
people want to live right down the road in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
So location is probably key next up for me personally.
Okay, that's great. So that's what I know when I was talking with Scott, the way when I used to run a lot of buyers, I would say, you know, five key things, you know,
Okay.
like price point, location, um, house size, you know, like what is important to your family's needs, you know, maybe the yard or, you know, like what are your like five key things? And so from that, I would say if we find four out of your five, that's your house. Because, you
Yeah.
know, setting that expectation for them because we don't make the market. We just interpret it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, you know, buy side, and I know you've experienced this plenty of times where somebody's like, I want blah 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 blah, blah, and it's just like, well, my magic wand's broken, you know, like it just
Yeah.
doesn't exist. So it's one of those things where, like, in setting the stage for somebody that is new to it, like what are some pointers you could give to somebody to help them to have a realistic expectation of the market we've been in
The market we've
since
been
the
in.
pandemic,
Yeah.
because I mean this is what you've known, you know,
Yeah.
like
I mean, the pandemic market, everyone knows they're afraid of the real estate market because homes just cost way too much and it's all highest and best offers. But recently it's slowed down, which is really nice. We're finding both sides of the coin with a house that won't get offers and you make out with a really good deal. Or
mhm,
you'll find a home that is, you know, the highest and the best, the how do you want to say, the flossiest house on the market, and it will go for a bidding war still. So it's
yeah,
still there, but
yeah.
we're in a nice spot
We're
right
seeing
now.
inspections
We're seeing
again,
inspections
and yeah,
again. We're seeing conversations, negotiations are happening. I get
uh,
to do my job more and actually call a realtor and discuss needs. It's really nice.
yeah,
The spring market, who knows what'll happen,
yeah.
but we're
It's
seeing a
here.
lot more,
It's coming.
yeah, higher inventory, more homes on market, which is always good for everyone. So
Yeah,
more options to buy and,
yeah,
less people competing on one home. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, it's good. I think it's definitely who who you have helping to guide you, because so many people just go online and click on a house
Mm-hmm.
and just stumble upon an agent. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like when you're interviewing an agent, you know, what are some key things that, you know, when somebody asks you, John, why should I work with you versus somebody else? You know,
Well,
what
first
is
and
something
foremost,
that,
being a full-time agent is
amen.
a solid part. No
Yeah.
hate on anyone's part-time. I respect what you do. It's a lot more work like that, I think.
Yeah.
Because
We've all juggled that in the beginning,
yeah,
maybe, you know,
yeah,
like
it's a
myself
choice to be
included.
made.
I had like 3 months of
Hmm.
trying to do both social work, wake up at 5 in the morning, go do social work, had the two kids and you know, like
Yeah, it's a lot of balance, and in the end, you realize if you're doing this full-time and you want
I
to
think I
help somebody
sold
make the
three
biggest
houses,
decision,
you know, in three
yeah.
months, you know, because I was like, I can't even like focus on this, you know,
Exactly.
like,
You're too distracted with everything. But it's the
hmm
biggest decision of some people's lives. So it's silly to decide to make that a part-time need.
yeah. Well, I think a lot of people have the expectation that real estate is just so easy and that we ultimately just drive nice cars and we don't work hard,
And we
you
never
know,
work.
and we never work. Where it is a profession where you work as you make as much as you want. Like you get to work. Like if you want to make more money, you can work more. You know, so
Yeah.
it is one of those things. But that's a topic for another day. That you know
Could dig into
what the real
that.
estate, you know, which we are going to have a day just on agency,
Cool.
on you know what that looks like
Okay.
for everybody. But today it's specifically just like buy side. You know, like some pointers that you would have for somebody that is starting out, and you know, you in particular. You know, like if somebody was interviewing you,
Hmm.
you know, what does that look like?
Yeah, I think they're interviewing me specifically.
Hmm
The fact that it's full time, the fact that I'm always available. I don't mind working nights and weekends, which is huge.
Yeah,
Some
yeah,
people do not like to go out on the weekend, but it ties right back into my seeing friends and hanging out is all part of the job, and it's things I enjoy doing. So it's like, oh, Saturday
yeah. You're
is the only
social.
time this week. Yeah, my friend's working all week 9 to 5 and can't get out, and at night has the kids. It's like, oh, it's cool. We can go out Saturday. We can go out Sunday. We can go out
Yeah,
Friday night. It's fine. Like we can
yeah,
make time
yeah.
to see
Because you
any
have
home.
to. You have
Hmm.
to. I mean, as an agent, you know, if your agent is like, I can't show it to you until next Thursday at 4, that house is going to be gone.
And I've had friends come to me and tell me that they worked with an agent years ago and they couldn't get into a home for 2 weeks. And especially during the COVID market, it
Mhm.
really ruined a lot of homes for them. They
Yeah,
never got an offer in time, and the home would sell, and their agent was just never available. So it's
yeah,
got to be available.
yeah, yeah. Which is one of those things where definitely when somebody wants to see a house, it's got to happen, and that's just the way it's been for I don't know 6 years.
Yeah.
And that's why our team works really well,
Hmm.
because if you do have something going on, one of our, I could go show it, or Josh could go show it,
Yeah.
or Scott, or
Being on the team is a
Charlie, or
powerful asset because I can find somebody who can show it, even if I can't.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, and I think that's one of the things that sets us apart too. Is like somebody needs to get into a home, we all help each other.
Hmm.
We help each other, and we help that client because it's like, all right, what do I need to know about this client? Where are we at? Because it is about the client directly. It's about the person, and I bet we could count. We can have Anthony count how many times you said friends. Like for you,
Yeah, true.
you know what I mean? Like this is a very important, like they become friends for you,
Yeah.
which is great. Like that's why the client parties every year, because we do get to know our clients. We do care. We do want to make sure we treat everybody like a friend. We want to make sure that they have what they need. I mean, we can only I can't help it if you didn't pump your septic for 30 years.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I can't get it again. My magic wand is broken. I can't fix that.
Hmm.
But with that being said, I can try and help you to navigate. These are your options with it. We can disclose you haven't pumped it. Well, we have to disclose you haven't pumped it for
We
30
have
years.
to.
It's going to be on the disclosure, and then we're going to see how the test goes.
Mhm.
And it's the same like buy side. We have to prep them too with, okay, you want to be living in Doylestown. Your pre-approval is for 180. This is what we're going to be looking at. You know what I mean? Like based off of what their needs are, it's our job to help gauge
Yeah.
that. And that's what is great on the buy side.
It's as simple as shopping online. You pick your budget, what you want to spend, and you sort it by your preferences, what you like, beds, baths, basements, a yard, and your location, and then you can actually see what homes are available.
And that's a good point. With the shopping online, a lot of the sites that a lot of people use, we actually pay for multiple listings. So we pay for sites that get all of the inventory or most of the inventory, because there are people that will do, coming soons and will do different types of marketing that we every day are looking for as well. And we'll even go a step further. If somebody says, I want this specific neighborhood, my kids have to stay in this elementary school, we can look up specifically for that neighborhood and try and hunt for our clients and to try and help them in that specific need,
Exactly.
which is one of those things that's important too. So you need agents that have been doing it that can get very creative, if need be.
Mhm.
So if they can't find that quick, you know what I mean? If
Yeah,
it doesn't
creativity is a
exist,
great way to put it because you do have to be able to find something and think on the spot and figure out where you can find it if you can't. And it ties right into even writing contracts and offers. You have to creatively think of how to beat somebody else. How do you make your client's contract pop off the page
Yeah.
rather than just being another one in line at
Yeah.
the same price and same style?
yeah, yeah. And on the list side, I'll get 8 of the same offer. I'll have, and then I'll get one that is where it's just like, okay, I'll present this, but what is this
Yeah.
really going to be? And then I'll get one where it's like this person wants it, and this agent did every trick in the book. Both sides of the transfer tax, appraisal gap, uh, escalation call. Like boom, 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 boom. It's like, all right, well here we go.
Yeah.
So it is important that you have an agent that understands how to navigate the contracts, which we're going to have a video just specifically on contracts, agency, financing, all of the above. But this is just, today we wanted to have a little John Franko time with
Who
how
is the
John
man behind
helps.
the
Yes,
mask?
the man on the other line of the other side of the text.
True.
What he looks like, how
Behind these
how he
words.
helps you, how he helps you. But no, that's great, John. So you love real estate. You're a lifer.
Yeah, real estate for life. I can't see myself getting out of it at this point. I just enjoy it way too much.
Yeah, we get to help people.
Yeah.
I mean, how many jobs are there that you get to pick how much you work,
Hmm.
who you work with ultimately,
Yeah.
and how many people you can help. You know, it's a blessed life. It's a very blessed life for
Yeah,
sure.
it's a rare thing a lot of jobs don't have. So I just love it.
Yeah, the quality of life.
Mhm.
It's a high quality of life. I will say there is a high failure rate for real estate agents. A lot of people think. I think it's lower now. I think it's like 78%. I mean, and Anthony, you can fact check it, but
Yeah.
at one point it was 87%. Only 13% of agents stayed in the game for longer than 2 years. So I think the last I saw the statistic was a little bit that more people are staying in, but the average agent, I think last year across the country sold 4 houses. Like, how can you pay for your family? You know, but that ties into part-time, you know,
Yeah.
versus full-time. And that ties into, I think, a lot of people, and part of this is mapping your life and hitting your goals and living the life that you want. That's why we're doing this, to help people learn how to use real estate to live a great life. You know,
Exactly.
like, so part of that is all of those expectations you set for yourself and how you get there. And when you work for yourself, you have to be disciplined. You have to have all of that.
Got to be disciplined. You got to do it every day because no one's making
That's
you
part
do
of
it but
you being
yourself.
full-time.
And you
Yeah.
got to help the clients.
Yeah, yeah, because it's important. Like, if they
Mhm.
miss out, that's a big deal. You know,
Mhm.
like that's a big deal. And we've all missed out on houses. I know I've missed out on several opportunities, and I believe it wasn't meant to be. But at the time, it can be, you know, trying.
Yeah.
Or, you know, but again, when it's with our clients, what's really important is it's what they have going on. You know, what we're doing for them,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
good. Any other things that that you think are important to address on, you know, specifically buy side
we're-
you?
Video topics or not? I don't know. I think you did a really good job walking through everything. Give me a lot of good questions to think about.
Anthony, any questions you think?
Yeah, John, what would you say is the most important part about your job?
Most important part about my job. It's a great question. Without repeating too many things, I would. It's an important part. I mean, mostly just being available for my clients, being willing to help, willing to do the work. If somebody's looking for a home, they work a 9 to 5, they work odd hours, they got kids, they're busy. Everyone's life keeps going. So they need somebody watching the market, keeping an eye on it, really caring about what they want, what their needs are. Somebody who's really listening to them and not just saying, okay, I'll put you in the list. You need to really search for your clients because sometimes they don't know what they want right away. So they'll give you a vague description of what they want, but they're really not sure. So you kind of have to creatively figure out what they're aiming for in the end based off what they describe. So it's important to listen to the needs of any client.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, that's very well put. Yeah, because if you're not, then what are you doing?
Exactly.
You know, like, you're just trying to force your will. You spend, you know, the biggest investment of your life. You go do this. No,
Right.
that's not realistic.